Hi everybody, this is Delana Talks and welcome back for another video. Alright guys, I'm super excited for today's topic because it is something that I have truly grown very passionate about, and that is the, drumroll please, carnivore diet. If you don't know, the carnivore diet is basically where you only eat animal products. So you only eat things that come from an animal. If it doesn't come from an animal, you don't eat it. So you can eat eggs, you can eat beef, you can eat pork, you can eat anything that comes from an animal. You can drink milk, and that's all you do. So I was carnivore for a total of 45 days straight, and I just want to begin to talk about some of the benefits that I saw being a carnivore. I also ended up going on a trip to Morocco, so when I was there, of course, I had foods that were not strictly carnivore. I ate lots of fruit, and I had sugar, and I had carbs, and I had the whole 9 yards. As anyone should. I'm not in Morocco every day, so I decided to enjoy myself. First thing that I began to notice when I started the carnivore diet was how fast the inflammation in my body decreased.
Oh my god! Wow!
I'm talking within the first week, within the first 3 days maybe, I looked in the mirror and I noticed that the puffiness of my face had gone down by an immense amount, and I will go ahead and put a picture of me. The picture that I'm going to show is a picture of me a few days before I began the carnivore diet. I believe it was probably like 4 or 5 days before I started the carnivore diet. And this picture is me around 30 days in the carnivore diet. And as you can see, there's a huge difference between the two photos. In the first photo, I was wearing way too much blush, but that's not the difference I am talking about. The difference I am talking about is how puffy my face used to look versus what it looks like in this photo. Like I said, I went to Morocco. I've been back for, I think, 2 weeks now, and I have been on the carnivore diet. I've had a couple off days, like when my power went out, and I had a couple off days eating things that were non-carnivore. However, I've been eating basically every single meal has been, very meat heavy, and I've only had 2 days since I've been back that I wasn't 100% carnivore. Other thing that I noticed when I began to be carnivore was about 2 weeks in, the soreness that I had from the gym absolutely dissipated. Like, completely went away. I'm not joking, you guys, when I tell you that I would go to the gym, I would get so extremely sore to where even 4 or 5 rest days in between, I would still be sore, that when I would do my workout, I could feel the tightness. So what I had done is, I scheduled my workouts twice a week. When I went carnivore and I was eating strictly animal foods, I noticed that about 2 weeks in, my soreness completely went away. I'm talking, I did not get sore anymore. Like, there was no such thing as gym soreness. And I did not change my workout either. And I did not change the length of time that I would work out or the days that I work out. So I was working out probably 4 times a week, and I had scaled back to try to reduce the soreness because it was just hindering my everyday life. Bending down would hurt. My muscles just felt so tight even after stretching. And so I scaled back to 2 days. And this is when I was still eating a pretty much whole foods diet, but I would have sugar every now and then, ice cream maybe a little bit more than every now and then, and carbs as well. So I scaled back to 2 days a week to see if that would help, and it did not help. I'm talking even 4 days in between my workouts, 4 or 5 days, I would still be so extremely sore. However, when I switched to carnivore diet and about 2 weeks in, I noticed that I was no longer getting sore from my workouts. That my soreness was just not even basically, it was completely gone. And it was like a miracle. It's like, how am I not getting sore anymore? I was like, this is literally like, how is this happening? I was so confused as to how this could even happen. And I think it's because, from what I've learned researching carnivore, is that when we eat vegetables, there are these things called oxalates that build up within our joints, and that can cause a lot of inflammation and pain and soreness. And so when I took the vegetables out and I started eating, these whole animal protein foods, giving my body what it needed, the soreness just went completely away. Apparently, I'm not the only one who has experienced this. A lot of people are claiming the same thing, that they no longer get sore. And like I said, I think that's due to the fact that you no longer have oxalates within your body and you're eating foods that your body was actually meant to eat. Another thing that I had noticed is that my sleep improved. I was getting really good sleep, some of the best sleep of my life, and I would wake up earlier. I started waking up early. Like, I didn't even really need, I would have my alarm clock set, but truly I would just wake up on my own, and I had a lot of energy in the mornings. Another big thing for me was my hair. You guys, I just recently had found out that I have low iron, which I think explains the hair loss that I was experiencing, because my hair used to be way longer than what it is now. I would lose clumps and clumps and clumps in the shower, and it got to the point where I was so extremely almost depressed about it, because I have these pictures and videos of my long hair, and my hair is just slowly broken off and falls out in the shower. And recently I got my blood drawn. This was just like maybe 30 days, not even 30 days into carnivore diet, I got my blood drawn and found out I was on the side of low iron. And so I would kind of assume that the longer I am carnivore, the more that my levels will begin to balance out. And so when I was eating carnivore, though, something I had noticed is that my hair in the shower, yes, I would lose a few pieces here and there, but my hair, you guys, I was not losing absolute clumps. I'm not joking you. My shower, when my hair would come out, I just put it on the wall, which may sound gross to some of you guys, but I know some of you girls can relate to me. When my hair falls out, I would just put it on the shower, and I have this whole entire wall of just hair. So much hair that I would lose. And if you look at my wall now, there's maybe a few strands, like single strands, versus when I wasn't carnivore, there was clumps of hair that would fall out. And so this is really good. I feel like my hair has been almost gotten thicker. It feels stronger, feels healthier, and so that's incredible. Another thing that I noticed with the carnivore diet is my skin. You guys, I know I don't have perfect skin, and obviously I'm wearing makeup right now, but my skin, and I have eczema, okay? And something I had noticed was it started to flare up. When I went carnivore, it started to flare up for like a week, and then it cleared. Like, it almost, I wouldn't say 100%, but it really improved. I wasn't breaking out nearly as much. My skin wasn't as flaky. And my actual skin, as in like acne and pimples, went away. And as you guys can see right now, this is some eczema that I currently have, and this did not happen. This breakout did not happen until I went to Morocco and I was eating sugar. And I wish I had a picture of what my face looked like, because when I was in Morocco for, I believe, like 2.5 weeks almost, and I was eating ice cream. I was eating a lot of ice cream. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like eating a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs, which honestly is like the normal standard American diet. Most people eat this stuff every single day. And I noticed like my face, my skin, right here is where I get really bad eczema, and right here, I noticed that it broke out so bad. By the time I was coming home, I was like starting to travel back home, my face was just not having it, and it just continued to get worse until finally I got back home. It was bad for a while, and then it finally healed. I was eating carnivore again, and I really genuinely believe that I had those breakouts because of what I was eating. Our skin is very much so connected to the foods that we eat, and when you eat foods that are inflammatory, it causes, especially if eczema, it causes flare-ups, it causes, breakouts. Something else that I had noticed when I was traveling and I was eating non-carnivore foods, or I wasn't eating only carnivore foods, I was eating whatever it was. I was eating pizza and pasta and bread and all these different things and ice cream. that I started getting major headaches. Like, I'm talking extremely bad headaches to where I would just want to lay down. And so that, I would eat something and I would just get this awful headache. And it was most of the time it had sugar in it, you know what I mean? Or had a large amount of sugar in it, and I had not been eating that way for over 40, I think it was 45 days. I hadn't had any sugar. I got really bad headaches when I was eating non-carnivore things. Oh, and something else, when I came back from my trip, my body was so extremely sore. So sore. And it's like, I was just on vacation. I shouldn't be sore, you know what I mean? I hadn't worked out in 2.5 weeks, but my muscles ached, and I was like, this is so strange. And as I'm back and I'm wanting to get back into the gym, I'm like, my body hurts so bad, I feel like I can't even work out. So then when I went to work out, I was already sore for what reason, I don't know. I truly believe it's my diet. And so when I worked out, after that, the next day and the next few days, I was in excruciating pain. And mind you, I had not experienced any soreness for a while, right? Because when I started going carnivore, it was about 2 weeks in. After that point, never got sore from a workout again. Until, it wasn't even from a workout, until I started eating these sugary foods. I didn't have to work out to get sore. I just started having this pain. And I've had trouble with my hips. I think one of my legs is longer than the other. So like my hips need popped all the time because I feel this like built up pressure. And I can't say it fixed it 100%, but when I was carnivore, the hip pain went way down. I'm talking like way down to where, honestly, I didn't even really notice it a lot of the times. And then I would just feel like, sometimes I would feel a little bit of pressure. But I was like, wow, I've noticed that my hips have not been hurting like they normally do, because typically, I'm trying forever to pop them because I could just feel that pressure. But I noticed that pressure wasn't really there anymore, and I truly think that's because the inflammation had gone down in my body. And so when you're less inflamed, everything flows a lot better. And I do think my face, obviously it's not the slimmest it could be, it's not the least inflamed it can be, but I think we're getting there. You guys should have seen me when I just had gotten back from my trip. I was so puffy, so inflamed. Not just only my face, but my body, like, it everywhere was so inflamed. And so I'm so thankful to have found the carnivore diet, and I understand that it may not be for everybody. But I challenge you to give it a try, because truly I've never, with any other diet, and I've done a lot of diets, you guys, like I have tried, and I even tried the just do whole food diet, and some people can do that and they're thriving, and that's amazing. If you can, that's wonderful. But I would suggest up your red meat intake, because red meat is so nutritiously dense that you can receive so many vital vitamins from it. Eggs are amazing. There was a study that found just they took these children and they just gave each of them one egg, an extra egg every single day, gave them an egg every day, and their IQ actually increased by 15 points. By 15. Their IQ increased by just eating an egg. So, I think that's incredible. Obviously, I had heard about the carnivore diet before, but I never gave it a real try. I had attempted it, and I tried to eat more meat, but I gave up on it. But then I found Michaela Peterson's video. I found Jordan Peterson talking about it, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker, all these different people, Steak and Butter Gal, who I've talked about it, and it just makes sense, especially from like biological standpoint, a historical standpoint. Humans have been eating red meat since the beginning of time. It's how we've thrived. So I'm not recommending to everyone to just, only eat animal products. I think everyone should give it a try. I think it will help with your arthritis. I think it will help with your digestion. I think it will help with bloating, and inflammation will go down. I think you'll feel the best you've ever felt. I think your energy levels will improve. People have reversed diabetes, people have reversed autoimmune diseases, people have just done insane things by eating this way, and I'm curious to see what happens in the long run if I continue to do this, which I plan on doing, because honestly, feeling the way that I felt after I ate non-carnivore foods, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't feel this way. This way is awful. I feel terrible. I hate being sore. My body just ached, you guys. Like, I'm not exaggerating. My body ached so bad. And like I said, I hadn't worked out. My body was just aching so bad. And that started when I was on my trip. I noticed I was sore. And when I got back, I really began to notice I was so sore. I was confused. I just couldn't make sense of it. And it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I put two and two together. When I started carnivore, soreness went away. I just was eating non-carnivore foods, and look, soreness is back. Another amazing benefit of the carnivore diet is how full and satiated you feel. Genuinely, I have to kind of remind myself to eat, because when you eat carnivore, you do not really get hungry. You feel full, you feel satisfied all the time. And so really that desire to eat sugary foods is not there, because you're already so full that you don't feel like you need anything. That was something that I absolutely loved about the carnivore diet, is just I'm never really hungry on it. I'm not hungry. And if I am hungry, I can go eat something. And it will actually has enough protein and fat to keep me full and satiated for hours. Like, when I started carnivore, I actually ended up doing OMAD to TMAD. A lot of the time I was eating one meal a day, just because genuinely I was not hungry. And I did journal. I did in my notes app. I wrote down, I reflected every single day that I was carnivore. I mentioned what I ate, what I did, if I was fasting, whatever it was, and how I felt, how I was feeling, any changes I noticed. Something else, I don't know if this has been explained scientifically, but something else that began to happen to me when I went carnivore was my dreams, you guys. My dreams started, like, I was having the most craziest, vivid dreams I've ever had in my life. Like, to the point where I was like, did this actually happen? I was having dreams very frequently. I know we have dreams basically every night. Sometimes it's hard to remember them. We can't remember them. But I was having dreams and remembering them. That's the other thing. Mental sharpness and clarity. I feel like I could actually think. My mind was clear. I was a lot more grounded and in tune when I was carnivore. I am carnivore currently, but I'm reflecting on that first 45 days that I was carnivore and the things that I had noticed. Incredible, absolutely incredible, and no one can take away your personal experience. I've had a bunch of people tell me I'm gonna die of heart disease, I'm gonna die from all of these different things, but nobody can take away how I feel. And I do give credit to the fact that obviously I've cut out processed foods, I'm eating real whole food, but I've also done the diet, a whole foods diet. I've done a whole foods diet, and did I feel good on it? Yes. Did I feel like how I felt when I was carnivore? No. Did my soreness go away when I was on a whole foods diet? No. Did it go away on carnivore? Yes. And there's just certain benefits that I've received for being carnivore that I didn't get on any other diet. I didn't get that on a whole foods diet when I was eating vegetables, fruits, and things like that. But I did get it on the carnivore diet, and truly I had never felt better. Another thing I just remembered, guys, another thing that happened when I went carnivore, the compliments I got on my teeth. People genuinely, multiple people was like, have you been whitening your teeth? Your teeth look so good. And I was not whitening my teeth at this time. No. They would stop me and be like, wow, your teeth just look so good. They look so white. They look so... And I was like, why are people... And I realized, I was like, oh my gosh. I've been getting like, I've gotten compliments before on my teeth, don't get me wrong, but it was becoming a very regular thing to where people at work would mention, like, wow, Delaney, your teeth look so bright, your teeth look so good. And I think that's because I wasn't eating all of this sugar, I wasn't eating all of this junk. You know, I'm only drinking water, I'm not drinking things that can stain your teeth. And so that was another benefit. When I gain or lose weight, it first is in my face. So like I said, when I got back from my trip, I was very puffy. And I will put in a photo right here of me right after my trip. And this is me currently. Like, obviously I have a little bit of puffiness in my cheeks. Inflammation's not completely gone. You know, jawline is not 100%, which you guys should have seen my jawline before I left for my trip. I'll also put a picture here if I can find one of me before I left for my trip. Like, that was peak. I was like, I think I was down, like, I don't know, because I didn't weigh myself before I left, but I know it was probably at least 10 pounds, 10 to 12 pounds probably. It did not feel like I was dieting whatsoever. It does not feel like you're dieting. It's a lifestyle. It's the way that you eat foods that make you feel good. And honestly, when the government is telling me, when all these big corporations are telling me that red meat's bad for you, that a bowl of Lucky Charms is better for you than a steak or than an egg or than whatever it may be that comes from an animal, I'm like, something's not right. Truly, I believe that they want us sick, that when we are sick, they can make a profit.
FBI, open up!
I've listened to a bunch of doctors talk that when they are in school, you know, they are taught to diagnose and prescribe. They are not taught to ask questions about what's causing the root cause and how to actually heal that. But they are, you know, they're cheered on and they're patted on the back when they can identify what it is, and then they can match a drug to it. And personally, I want to live a long life, but not only just a long life, I want to live a long and healthy life. I want to be able to be 80 years old, you know, being mobile and doing things and having a sharp mind. What we do now will determine how we are in the future. Another thing that happened when I went carnivore was my nails started to grow, and they started to grow thick because I've always had very flimsy, thin nails that like to peel. But when I was carnivore, my nails started to grow, and I really like that because I think having long nails is feminine. It looks nice, and that was just a nice little perk of being carnivore. So as you guys have heard, there was a bunch of benefits to being carnivore. I may have not mentioned everything, and if I can think of any more stuff, I will film another video if you guys like this about it and my experience, and I can kind of update you guys as I continue to be carnivore, because truly, I don't know if any other diet is for me. I don't know if I'm going to be 100% 24/7 going forward, in the sense of if a friend asked me to get ice cream, I'm not gonna do it every day. I'm not gonna do it every month even. I'm not gonna do it every 3 months even. But if it's 1% of the time, I'm 99% carnivore, and 1% of the time I wanna, you know, get something that I know may affect me negatively. For example, let's say it's my birthday. I know this is controversial. A lot of people like eat a steak instead, buy an expensive steak instead. That's cool if you want to do that. But if it's my birthday and I 99% of the time I'm a carnivore, hey, if you're doing better than the rest of the American population. Okay, you're doing better than most people. You're putting foods into your body that are actually really good for you, and I don't think one slice of cake is going to ruin it for you. Going into this after experiencing all these benefits, I was like, I'm never gonna eat anything that's not carnivore again. You know, I was like, I can't ever do that again. It's just so bad for you, and it is bad for you, and I acknowledge that. But for example, like with alcohol, alcohol is absolutely terrible for you and it's poison. But if somebody can recognize that, okay, you know, this is bad for me and it can it will continue to affect me for the next 3 weeks of my life, and they're still okay with that consequence, and they want to have a drink with their family or a friend, go for it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, eating this ice cream right now may be good in the short term, may be pleasurable in the short term, and I understand that this could have some negative effects on me. It's gonna spike my blood sugar. It could give me a headache. You know, it could cause a crash later. Um, it's not good for my brain. If I can recognize that this is the reality of it, and I'm okay if that experience, like getting ice cream with a friend, is valuable to me, I'm gonna get ice cream with my friend. Am I gonna do this every month? No. Am I gonna do this every week? Absolutely not. I may do it every now and then, and that is completely okay, because you have to find what works best for you, what is sustainable for you. And if being carnivore, eating primarily carnivore foods, eating primarily animal food, if that means every once in a while, you know, you go out to dinner and there's some dinner rolls there and you want to have one, that's okay. You know what I mean? Life is not perfect. We are trying our best, and if as long as you are taking steps forward and you're okay with the consequences that can occur, because there are people who genuinely cannot eat anything but ruminant meat. For example, Michaela Peterson, she cannot have really anything but ruminant meat, and she's tried to introduce other things, and she's had these awful responses and reactions to them. So unless you're somebody like that who absolutely can't tolerate, you know, it's okay to, because carnivore is an elimination diet, especially if you're sick and you're having these things and you're not sure, and it's okay. You can try to reintroduce something and see how you feel. Just give it a try. Eat something and see how you feel. Really listen to your body. But I think that when you begin carnivore and you start to see the benefits and you start to see really how good you can feel, you're not gonna want to go back. And that's what happened to me. It's like I can't imagine going back to eating ice cream 4 times a week. Like, I can't believe I work next to a Dairy Queen, you guys. The amount of money that Dairy Queen has gotten of mine is insane, and my weakness is ice cream. But good thing is there are carnivore ice cream recipes out there, so go look those up. Steak and Butter Gal has a really good one. She doesn't put anything in hers, it's just the heavy whipping cream and the egg yolks, I believe. But you can put vanilla extract to add a little bit of sweetness to it. But that's totally up to you. So if you guys have any questions or comments, or if you've ever tried carnivore, go ahead and tell me a little bit about your experience and leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Is carnivore something that you're willing to try? I think it's really good just to have an open mind. Give it a try. Don't judge it until you've tried it. I'm telling you, give it at least 30 days and see how you feel. If you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore, okay, that's fine. But give it a try and ease into it. Start consuming every single meal. Make sure you have an animal food. You know, try to make it red meat, and then slowly but surely start, you know, taking away those other foods. Start adding more animal foods into your diet. Instead of focusing on what you're taking away at first, start really adding a lot of animal foods, and you will notice how full and satiated you really start to feel. And see if even doing that, I believe even just adding more meat into your diet, you will feel amazing. You will feel so much better. And then you can slowly start plucking away at those other foods that you consume. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and drop them down below. Let me know what you guys think of the carnivore diet. What diet are you guys currently on? Are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Are you carnivore? Are you an omnivore? Like, where are you at and what are you eating and how do you feel? I'm telling you, if you think you feel good, you can feel so much better, at least in my experience and many people's experiences. Give carnivore a shot, give it a try, do your research, truly. Don't just do a Google search, because I'm telling you, they'll be like, red meat is bad for you, don't eat it. Do real extensive research. There are plenty of doctors out there, like I named before, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Ken Berry. There are plenty of doctors and people out there who have done extensive research on this, and they will, you know, ease any of your anxieties or questions. They can answer all your questions about the diet and kind of debunk those myths that people have put in place to steer you clear from eating red meat. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Have a wonderful day or a wonderful night. I love you all.